Many spiritual teachers talk about final liberation of the soul and spirit. This is also called Moksha, Nirvana, or Mahasamadhi in the East. The teachings tend to agree that relative liberation of the soul in the heaven worlds is a first step to this. But they agree that the heaven worlds are still part of Prakriti, or a part of the phenomenal emanations of pure spirit, and are therefore still subject to eternal rounds of birth, death, and the suffering intrinsic in these processes. Therefore, heaven is not enough, many teachers say, so we must strive for total liberation beyond the heavens, in complete union with the pure spirit of Atman Brahman. But many of the teachers who talk about moksha show much evidence in their own lives of unresolved material attachments. I think much of the talk about moksha is a form of spiritual materialism, of spiritual one-upmanship, like saying, "Oh, you only strive for heaven, but I have higher aims than that." In truth, though, if someone has shown in their own lives that they haven't even transcended material attachments yet, like many of the gurus and others who talk about the importance of moksha, it's very unlikely that they are really candidates for it themselves, however much they may brag otherwise. Maybe it would be a real challenge for them to even realize heaven, so maybe they should concentrate on that first. To be realistic, people can only strive toward goals they can really conceptualize. It may be quite possible to conceptualize heaven, but very few have any real idea of what moksha is. What they do seem to know is that it's a place of final escape from the troubles of the world. That seems to be often their main concern, to escape from the suffering of a material world that they have not yet mastered. But it's always necessary to master any grade before proceeding to the next one, so dreams of proceeding beyond grades that are not yet mastered remain only dreams until the grades are really mastered. If I ever develop a clear concept of what moksha is, and if it sounds good, then maybe I would strive for it. But I don't want to strive for something I don't have any clear concept of yet. That doesn't make sense to me. Until then, I'll just strive for spiritual mastery in the heavens, as I can conceptualize those things now. That's enough challenge for me now, and these are the only goals that make sense to me now. But if I find out that moksha is just total annihilation or blowout of the soul in undifferentiated spirit, I don't think that would sound attractive to me anyway. I think I'd rather stay engaged in the play of life and seek to continue growing in wisdom and love so I could help both myself and others, even if that continues to involve some suffering. Much suffering is caused by excessive material attachment anyway, isn't it? So if one grows in wisdom and love, much of that suffering would disappear from one's engagement in life anyway, wouldn't it? Even if someone does master this world, wouldn't their self-realization in love make them want to stay connected to phenomenal creation and to come back to aid others to realize this love? So even if moksha could be attained, there are reasonable questions to ask about whether a true saint would want to attain it. If he or she could, maybe they would prefer to continue to help others in material life, if not as incarnate souls, at least as ascended masters or angels. There is apparently strong evidence in the Bhagavad Gita itself that moksha is shown as not a state to be desired or sought after. This is why, in my view, there are always two figures in the chariot, those of both Arjuna and Krishna. Though Arjuna sees Krishna in his full splendor as Atman, they never merge. There are good reasons for this. One must stay in life to add one's love to life. So even if it would be possible to merge forever in the oneness of Atman Brahman, there are very good questions to ask about whether this should be either sought or desired. My sense is that it's the natural tendency of light to always shine outward. So even if someone fully attained enlightenment, they would always continue to shine out on life, and will always remain engaged in life.